The Shield of Cthulhu is one of Terraria's greatest, most legendary accessories. Or is it? It might just be me, but I totally thought that pretty much everyone loved this accessory. Recently though, I've been hearing a whole lot of people say that this thing isn't all that, or even people who just never use it at all. I'm gonna be real though, this is my favorite accessory, so why is it that the item has become kind of polarizing? Well, that's the goal for today. I'm gonna provide my case for why I love the Shield of Cthulhu, and then look at some reasons why people don't use it. Maybe we'll find some common ground, maybe I can spark some intellectual conversation in the comments if that's possible. Quickly though, before we start, I want to remind you all that I'm shooting for 10k subs soon, so if you enjoyed this video, drop a sub. Thanks. Anyways, let's begin with why I like the Shield of Cthulhu. Reason 1. It's got great horizontal movement in the air, which is not easy to get a hold of in this game, especially in pre-hard mode, and especially in comparison to how much vertical stuff there is. Reason 2. Speaking of pre-hard mode, this thing takes one measly Eye of Cthulhu to get, so you could effectively use it for a good 95-ish% of the game if you really wanted to, and it doesn't ever become a bad accessory. Reason 3. Versatile movement overall. You get quick direction changes, quicker movement if you dash while running, and probably most importantly, instant momentum boosts on both mounts and speed boots, which is amazing for boss fights. Reason 4. Speaking of boss fights, this thing gives you immunity frames, which is a really nice counter to any enemy dashing abilities. So yeah, the Shield of Cthulhu overall has some pretty good upsides to it. But like I mentioned, there's a whole lot of people who think that this thing just isn't really that great, or maybe could just be replaced by better items. So let's explore some of the arguments against the Shield of Cthulhu and see what happens. First off, accidental dashes while doing tasks like arena building. Okay, seriously though, this is the one that I can't really get behind all that much. I've heard it too many times not to mention it here, but I really can't see this outweighing the positives much at all. Like, yeah, it is pretty annoying, but let's move on. Kind of building off of the accidental usage thing, this accessory does have a relatively unfavorable keybind. Personally, I don't mind it, and once again, I don't think it outweighs the good. However, I think a great solution to this would be an option to either keep the double tap bind or set your own. This way the people who are used to it can stay, mobile and console players don't have to grow a sixth finger, and I guess the rest of you can have your own bind. Next up, I gotta mention the shield bashing getting in the way. This is like if a zombie gets in the way of your Skeletron fight. I feel like though this one just doesn't really happen enough to like take off the accessory. It's a little annoying when it happens, but like, I would never stop using the shield because of it. The next, and I guess most interesting reason to not use the shield is alternatives. Off the top of my head, the three things that come to mind as an alternative to this accessory would be either a grappling hook, a magiluminescence, or possibly get better because the game isn't that hard and doesn't require an accessory like this. Okay, bro, what the? And if you're one of the people who says that third one, check this out. Yeah, cower. Anyways, the first alternative is the grappling hook. A hook can give you those directional changes, it does work vertically, and it's pretty gosh darn speedy. This is probably the best alternative, but if you ask me, it's hard to say that there's really alternatives for the Shield of Cthulhu. Like, nothing really comes close to having what it has, so I'm rolling it out. Next alternative, magiluminescence. This one is a pretty goated accessory, but I feel like it isn't similar enough to the Shield of Cthulhu to really call it a replacement. They do have a couple of similarities like acceleration and horizontal movement, but honestly, if you ask me, I feel like these two accessories are too different to really compare like this. Maybe you could use a magiluminescence instead of it if you just don't like dashing, but other than that, I don't know, man. In conclusion, I generally feel that a lot of the common complaints with the shield aren't enough to rule out the usability of it. On top of that, I feel like the well-known alternatives are generally too different to really say they're actually better or worse. So, as this might be the boring final conclusion, it's probably the best because in the end, I feel that that sort of polarizing, disagreeable nature of this accessory comes from the fact that it is one of the most unique accessories. Literally, it's like an entire playstyle shifter, which is inherently polarizing. So yeah, in the end, my opinion hasn't really changed. I still think this thing is goated, and there's not really anything that can replace it. So yeah, it's the best accessory, and nothing could ever go wrong with it. I can never do anything. And that's gonna be about it for this video. If you enjoyed, check out one of my other videos on screen. Drop a like and a sub, and of course, special thanks to all the members on the left. Bye bye!